now that the character is painted, sculpt, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit paint. Um, Now, what actually makes a lot of sense is to go ahead and save this first. Control Shift S, and I'm just gonna save it as kid, and save, replace it. Yeah, okay. Because sometimes what ends up happening, you hit paint, it'll actually like get hung up and it won't work. And then you'll have to basically, depending on the amount of geometry, it might not function correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and do 1024. That should hopefully be enough. So you can see this is gonna take some time. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this until this is done. So as you oh, it went into it. Okay, so good. So now we have it here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is just fill the entire character with whatever color I think is gonna be the primary one. So in this case, I'm just gonna do a skin color. Kind of a bring it out here, and let's see, go more a little bit lighter than that. And we'll say something like that, and I'll hit OK. And I'll make sure my strength's all the way up and hit F for fill, and that will fill the entire character with that color. And now what I'm going to do is basically go through and paint all my primary colors. Okay, so the color of the shirt, I'm just going to make it kind of a reddish color, kind of a more burnt umber kind of color. Okay. And I got my strength all the way up, and I'm put my hardness all the way up as well. And I'm just gonna basically just color her shirt in with that color. All right, so as best as I can. And there's some bleeding going on there, so I guess we'll just roughly paint some of this other stuff here. Okay. Da, 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 da. Alright. Okay. And alright. Okay. So now I'm just going to go through and do more specifically the edges here. Try and get as good as we can. Okay. Okay. There's that. And now, unfortunately, Sculptris doesn't have layers, so pretty much whatever you paint is what you get. There's no way of like unpainting something. A bit of a dirt. So I would have spent more time, honestly, normally on basically creating the artwork than we did, but hopefully you do. It's just I got a bunch of pieces to do here, so okay. And we're gonna go ahead and get the shirt done now. All right. And oink, 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 oink. Okay. So on and so forth. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and basically just like that, I'm going to paint the rest of my primary colors. And then when I get done with that, I'll start the video up again. So I'm just going to pause it here and finish the colors. Okay. So I painted my primary colors, and now what I'm going to do is start painting like secondary colors and shading and things like that. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to go through, and I think what I'm going to do is show you this real quick. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you this real quick. I'm going to choose a darker kind of red color-ish to go into these creases. I'm going to choose height mask, then cavity, and then make this a little bit bigger. And what this will do is it will do nothing. So for whatever reason, this seems to like keep happening. Oh, there it is. I can see it there. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, make sure it's on cavity, and I'll take the strength up a little bit. There it goes. Okay. So what it does is it'll only paint, if I just brush like this, it'll only paint in the crevices. Back this up a little bit more. Okay, so basically I can use it as a sort of guide, and it's almost like adding a patina, like a pre-shading. I'm going to take the strength down a whole ton. and it helps basically define the form as much as possible. So let's make this a little bit bigger, and I'm just gonna maybe take the strength up a touch here. There we go. And just try to add little like pre-shading. Basically, it'll push the form overall like that, and that looks better. And actually, let's make it smaller for here, so I get a little bit of that crease as well. All right, and make sure it's in there good. All right, okay, and then I'm just gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna go kind of lighter and say a little bit gray. Okay, and just leave it on just height mask, and then I'm gonna make it kind of a bit weaker here, and I'm gonna have it. I need to up the strength just a touch more. So that basically adds only to what sticks out. So, and it just helps add a little variation to the shirt and the character in general. Alright, so it's got a little more depth to it. And I could do the same thing with the skin and what have you as well. So, just kind of make that a little bit darker. And then I'll just take that out altogether, and I'm just going to manually paint. But you can use that height mask, and that will be helpful. I'm going to take the hardness and make that super soft. And I'm going to kind of add just more or less some pre-shading here. Oops. We'll make this a little bit smaller. Inside the ear here, behind the ear, around the jaw, and here, on the lip, on my eyes, here a little bit. Okay. And then this gets a little more particular. So, like that. And we'll make this a lot weaker, because I do have a little bit of purple in my eyes, and I'm gonna make my lips. Okay, so I'll take this down a little, and I'm just gonna keep drawing over. Take the strength up just a touch. There we go, and make my lips a little bit redder. And I'm gonna do kind of like this, and make sure soft is good. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger and add some redness to my nose and to my cheeks and on my ears here, as well as my brow and my eyelids. Okay, like that. A little bit to my chin. Alright, okay, so a little bit to the earlobe here. Yeah, I'll break this up, and then just to the fingers in general. We're gonna add a little bit of pinkness here. Alright, I got texture enabled, so I turned that off. Alright, so, and a little bit to the elbow. Alright, that looks fine. Alright, more in there. Alright, good. And I'm going to go ahead and to the pants, kind of do like we did before. I'm going to take, and we'll make like a really dark blue. I'm going to do height mask cavity, and we will try to paint that in there. And sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm not 100% sure why that happens. Let's see what this, okay, regular will work. Okay, so I'm just going to do it manually. So I'm just going to kind of paint some of this darkness in here. Keep meaning to hit alt, I'm hitting the wrong one. Just to basically further define some of that. Alright, and we will make this a little bit smaller. Alright, like so. You get kind of the idea. Alright, so nothing too fancy. I'm obviously doing this quickly. Take your time though. Then I'll just do the opposite. I'm going to choose kind of a lighter color, and I'll go real kind of light on my jeans here to make them look a little bit more worn, like so. A little on the buttocks. Okay, and that looks okay. Alright, and we can kind of do the same thing here. I'll just make make this more gray. So like that, and then take this down. And I'm just going to add a little bit of variation here on that. And we'll do kind of the same here, just make it a little bit worn. Okay. Good. All right. And then I'll just do the hair here. So we're going to get some brown, brown color. Okay. And I'm just going to, let's see. I wonder if this would work now. Let me see, show advanced tools. I'm going to try using this here just to add some variation in the hair, and then I'll go darker as well. Okay. All right. And a lot of times in the roots, it's dark too. Okay. All right, something like that. And we will call that good. I mean, it's not great, but it will have to do because I don't want to spend a million years on this. But spend more time on yours because I have a basic character model. Yours might be more extreme, but you get the kind of idea from it. So what I'm going to do is I'll save this and just save it over this one. Yep. And then we are going to export it. So I'm just going to go ahead and down where it shows advanced tools, I want to basically just save the texture map. I'm not worried about the normals or the bumps. We're not going to do any of those, but I want to save the texture map. So I'm just going to call this like kid underscore high poly underscore color. All right, and I saved it as a PNG. And then I am also going to export out this as, we're going to call it, it's going to be an OBJ, kid underscore high poly. Okay, and there we go. So now we have those two things, and then the next one we're going to bring it into Maya and retopologize this, and then bake it with the other using XNormal. Okay, so basically just going to make the character, and then export out the color map and the model.